Yo, I am live. Welcome back to my channel. I am on YouTube, X, Facebook. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe if you think you'll like the content. If not, whatever. But yo, I'm terrible at introducing myself. We'll get better at that. I'm not used to doing that, but who cares? Um, man, I am hyped. I just drank some caffeine, so my mind might be a little bit discombobulated. I just learned how to do something new, so watch this. Uh, so this is not with StreamYard. This is just with the Google Chrome camera. So I can blur the background like that. Yo, this is fascinating. That's if I have this, because this is the most ghetto podcast in Cleveland, so maybe I should blur the background. And then I got this right here. Now, make sure you guys stay in your chairs. I don't want you to fall off when this happens. Whoa. Yo, that's crazy, man. This shit zoomed in on my face. Man. All right, so if you're here, I am going to react to a video, Pop the Balloon or Love. This has been circulating in the interwebs for probably a good couple of months, maybe a year or so. I don't know how long it's been, but it's gained some attraction. A lot of people has reacted to it. They have done somewhat of their own version of it. I've seen it in different countries, Africa, somewhere in Southeast Asia. Like Fresh and Fit did one. Everybody's doing their own version of it, but the original, I'm going to react to an original. So nobody ever does it as good as the originals. So we are going to start off with Pop the Balloon. We might not watch the entire thing. And then after that, we're going to react to a sit down with Pearl and a feminist who is a doctor. So I'm going to try and be objective, even though I'm very biased against feminist ideology. So I'm going to try my best to see from both sides. So, and I'm going to give my opinions, my thoughts, and hear whatever. But we're going to react to the Pop the Balloon first. Hopefully everybody can hear. Let me see here. Make sure you like the video. I just did a live earlier on the history of ninjutsu and stuff like that. So it was kind of a boring stream, but if you're interested in that kind of stuff, usually it is kind of boring if that's just not where your interest lies. So I try to do a variety of things on here as far as podcasts go. So yeah, we are going to get into the Pop the Balloon because this is a long one. Oh. I'm gonna. Yo, these intros be funny, man. They just be having them do some weird ass poses and some walks and stuff. What? She's got a masculine ass face.
All right, y'all, before we jump into Pop the Balloon, I do want to say thank you to Fashion Nova for sponsoring this video. The dress that I have on today is the
No,
Midnight Matte. He says that you're just really not a fan of, or, if it's something else, whatever it may be, go
I hate ads.
ahead and pop your balloon, and I'll go over to you and see why you ended up popping. Are you guys ready? All right. Okay, lady.
I haven't seen this yet, so I'm giving an authentic reaction to it, and I'm gonna try and break down a couple of things. So
Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring out our first single guy. Hello, welcome in. What's your name?
Jared.
Jared. How old are you?
I'm 38.
And what do you do?
So I'm a senior manager for a Fortune 500 company, and I'm also a baker on the side as well.
Okay, and now what are some things you like to do for fun?
So for fun,
So I know because I've watched a couple of these. Usually somebody pops their balloon. It's usually a good half of them, or maybe a couple of them. But so far, nobody's gotten any pop balloons. So first of all, I like the way he's dressed. I wish there was an undershirt. I always wear an undershirt with these types of dress, these types of clothes. He's overweight, maybe closing on obese, but so far the girls are liking his outerwear because they will pop a balloon based on what they wear. Uh, I like his pants. He's wearing dark pants, nice shoes. I'm glad he's not wearing the pants that are skinny. I hate the skinny pants. I hate the skinny jeans that these people wear these days. So far he's got a nice outfit. It's very it's not fancy. It's pretty casual. So he's got a watch. He doesn't have his hands in the pocket. He's speaking with his diaphragm. So and all in all, he's pretty confident overall.
love hanging out with friends and family. It could be anything from playing spades to being at a cookout to, at a party. Also love working out. Fitness is very important to me. So those are a couple things that are important to me that I like having, like.
He must be eating a lot because he doesn't look like he's fit, but I mean you could tell because of the way he's not wearing a fitted shirt, but you could tell that he's got a belly under there. So
like doing.
Okay, and now what do you look for in a woman?
Honestly, someone who's beautiful inside and out. Someone who has a beautiful heart and amazing character. You always are looking for somebody who's very attractive, but
women they are listening. They're definitely paying attention. They're hanging on to every single word that he says. I noticed that when he said he was a baker, none of them popped their balloon, so they're okay with what he does for a living. So, and they're all holding on their balloons. They're looking for a reason to pop, but so far nobody has popped.
looks feed and your character is who you are at your core.
Right.
Someone who loves a joke, have fun, loves to be around family. Also somebody who loves to work out. Just like I just said, it's important to me. Yeah, so just someone who I can create a safe space for,
Okay.
to where I feel appreciated and to also where she can feel like she's being loved correctly.
All right, now what are some deal breakers?
A woman who lacks emotional intelligence, right? At
No,
this big grown.
no. Why? Oh my God, why are people saying emotion? There's no such thing as emotional intelligence. Like, if we're gonna talk about emotional intelligence, who is the one that defines it? Which sex? Because if a man says to a woman, "Hey, you don't have emotional intelligence," that doesn't make any sense because she doesn't. Her emotions are not the same as a man. So, and it's the same thing when a woman's looking for emotional intelligence from a man. She does not. She can't emote in the same way that men do. Men have emotions. They expose their emotions differently than women. So I don't understand why people keep. It's just like toxic masculinity. Like you're basically just you're making up a word. You're not making it up. You're basically just parroting everything that everybody else says before you. You don't. Nobody can even define what emotional intelligence is. Like I said before, when someone says emotional intelligence, they just mean stoicism. For a man, it's stoicism. For women, it's emotions, emotional. So when a man gets emotional, he resorts to anger. When women resort to emotion, it's usually fear or something like surrounded by fear or some kind of despair or something like that. So like or like when they're crying or something. So it's when we say when when women are being emotional, it's different when we say men are being emotional. So that's why I don't like the word emotional intelligence, because nobody no sex is wrong for emoting the feelings that they emote. So there's no wrong way to emote their feelings. The only time it's wrong is when it ends up in a um bad bad outcome, like violence or manipulation. So I we need to stop saying emotional intelligence. It's bullshit. So um I think he's just speaking a language because he knows women talk about this all the time. He probably doesn't even give a shit about emotional intelligence.
On age, I'm 38. I've been through a fair amount of things, so I just love a woman who's able to communicate how she feels, whether it may be good or bad. Just being able to communicate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So we have not got any pop balloons yet. So let me hand you a pick. Everybody says this is the hard part,
This is the
but
hard
I'm
part. This
gonna
is
have you
pressure.
pop 3 balloons.
Let's see. He's gonna pop the girl with the lime green dress. He's gonna pop.
Whenever you're
I
ready,
gotta see
go
the
ahead
other
and pop
girl.
3.
This is pressure.
Yeah, I can't see the other girl. I know he's gonna pop hers.
Okay, we'll go right here.
Okay, 2 more. And 1 more.
He's never
I'm
mind.
gonna go you. I apologize.
Okay, we'll actually start down there. You can stay right over here. All right, if we can have your name and age.
Sophia, 36.
And Sophia, what do you do?
I'm a programming specialist for
Yeah,
a
she got a masculine face. I think that's why he popped her. So she's got that she's got a strong jawline. She's got big cheekbones. I don't know. It's just I can see why he popped it.
sports network. I'm a DJ, designer, Sophia.com, and a music publisher.
Okay, so why did you have your balloon unpopped?
I like the way he dressed. He spoke very well, and just wanted to hear him out. So, yeah.
All right. And why'd you end up popping her balloon?
Honestly, it was tough. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
I just had to pick 3. The whole panel was amazing.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
First of all, the whole panel is not amazing. He's just being politically correct.
Thank you. We had another one over here. Your name and age.
Anita, I'm 37.
And Anita, what do you do?
This girl is not unattractive. She has a very youthful looking face, but the problem is she's overweight. So she would look a lot better if she lost a lot of that fat.
I'm a contract analyst by day, and I'm a DJ and actress as well.
All right. And so why was your balloon unpopped?
He's attractive, and I liked what he had to say.
And why'd you end up popping hers?
Once again, I just had to pop 3. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Yeah, I just had to pop
How do you know she's amazing? You just met her.
somebody. I apologize.
Thank you.
And then our last one over here. Your name and age.
Nikki, 33.
And Nikki, what do
You showing too much skin. That's why he popped your balloon.
you do?
I own a balloon delivery service.
Oh, that's the coincidence. And so, Nikki, why was your balloon?
And she's got blonde hair, so that strikes me as she likes attention. She likes probably too much attention. So
Balloon unpopped.
He's handsome, and I just wanted to hear what he had to say.
And why'd you end up popping hers?
I just wasn't honestly a fan of the gold in the hair.
what I tell you?
Other than that, you're very
Fairy hair.
yeah, you're very attractive. Other
Thank
than
you.
that, yeah. So
Look, man, I don't know if there's any ladies watching, but we like natural hair color. The men that you want to take serious, or the men that is going to take you serious, we don't really like. We don't like unnatural hair color. So like, if you're a black woman and you're dyeing your hair like freaking ruby red or like freaking sunshine blonde or something like that, it's not natural. It just strikes to me as you just don't like your own hair color. Like it's just people are going to be politically correct. They're not going to say it out in public like they don't like your hair and stuff. It's just they don't want to deal with they don't want to deal with your lashback because you made that decision for a reason. So it's not like he's going to change your mind there. So just got to pay attention to what men are doing. What do you if you want to get a man to take you serious, man, do things that are serious. So especially when it comes to your look.
I like to sparkle.
Work it, girl. All right. So I am now going to have you ask our remaining 6 ladies a question.
Okay. So the first question I had for the remaining ladies is, what's something from your previous relationship that you learned about yourself that you're going to take into your next relationship that make you a better person?
Okay, we'll start here first. Name and age.
He's asking that question to see if they can take accountability, because most women usually break up with their they usually initiate most of the breakup. So if they can find one thing that they did wrong in a relationship, he's looking for that instead of he's trying to see he's trying to gauge if they can take accountability for any kind of bad behaviors or bad decisions they made.
Hi, my name is Shahira. I'm 35.
And Shahira, what do you do?
I am a footwear designer. I have my own footwear brand for women with larger shoe sizes, 9 through 14.
Okay, nice. And if you want to go ahead and just answer his question.
Vulnerability is the number one thing that I've learned from my past, and just to be more open and communicative about my feelings. I would hold things in, and then it would just, come out in ways that wasn't beneficial to the relationship. So now I'm learning to communicate, be honest, be vulnerable, because I want the same in return. So, yeah.
For sure.
Your name and age.
Hi, I'm Janae Moore with 808 and Trinity. I'm 33.
And Janae, what do you do?
I'm a servant of the Lord. So I am a personal assistant. That is what I do right now, currently.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if you want to go ahead and just answer his question.
So what I've learned, I would say I haven't been in a relationship since I've been saved. So now that I'm saved, it's
Oh no, we know what that means. That means she's done messing with the bad boy, so she wants a good little boy. So
really the Lord who's changed how I have relationships now. So I would say that what I've learned from the Lord is patience, having the fruits of the Spirit, patience, communication.
yep, she's gonna make you wait for sex. So if you choose if these two get together, she's not gonna give the same attention and sexual energy as she did as men in her previous past. So that's kind of what I'm getting from that.
And understanding, just allowing someone to just not making assumptions on what they mean, maybe asking them what do you mean by that, and just having a heart posture that is good.
Thank you. Your name and age.
My name is Jessica, and I'm 36.
And Jessica, what do
wow.
you do?
Yo, this is why I do very bad on dating apps, because the women my age look like 10 years older than I do. I usually I can't even lie about my age. I try to put like 34, which is which still looks like which still makes me look older, because most people that are 34 still look a lot older than I do. So this is why a lot of people like this is kind of going off the subject, but this is why people like give people shit about the age gap, because of this guy right here. Like he's basically the same age as I am, but he looks a lot older than I am because he's overweight. So the perception that people get at the age of 38 is like old and overweight and like gray hair. So like he doesn't have any grays, but he's still kind of like he's kind of big. So that's why a lot of women will get upset about a man dating younger. So it's funny because I have been on the dating apps, and a lot of the women that are in their early to mid 30s, they look a lot older than I do. So it's really hard for me to match with anybody on there that I'm trying to match with. But it's kind of funny.
I am artistic director for a dance studio.
Okay.
And if you can just answer his question.
And she's not really unattractive. I like her hair. I don't know if I like the symmetry of her face, but she could definitely lose a little bit of weight. Like I said, the less body fat you have, the more attractive you will be. So Arlene is kind of thick, but like she still has a nice round face. She doesn't have a lot of fat on her either. So she probably eats pretty decent.
Sure. I would say something that I didn't do in my relationship that I'm focused on prioritizing this time around is making sure that I make my significant other the most important person. I think sometimes we allow time to get away from us and devoting too much time to other things, but just prioritizing quality time with that person.
Okay.
All right, your name and age.
Katera Wilder, 38, and I'm a biomedical engineer.
Now, Katera, if you can go ahead and answer his question.
So for my previous relationship, I realized that love isn't enough. I was in a relationship and we loved each other deeply, but we needed more than just that. It needed to make sense in terms of logistics, like where we lived. It was a long distance relationship. And so as much as I want to have a partner, I want someone who's also intentional about making sure that they're ready for a relationship, like a marriage.
Okay.
Your name and age.
Liz, I'm 36.
Liz, what do you do?
I'm a business consultant for a software company.
A lot of smart ladies up in here today. All right. And if you want to go ahead and just answer his question.
I would say the number one thing that I learned is how to be a better communicator. I would say at times I probably wasn't the best communicator, even little things like if I need more time to think before we have a conversation about an argument we just had, I wasn't the best at communicating that. So I would say how to be.
It strikes me funny that like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I want to be a better communicator. I want to communicate better," but like people don't understand what that means. Like just because you communicate with somebody or don't communicate with them doesn't mean you're a bad communicator. It just means you're just misunderstanding of what the other person wants or needs because both parties, one or the other, could be lying about their intentions. So we see it all the time. Like women are very confused these days. Like they don't know the difference between sexual attention and relationship attention. So I'd have to see a little more. I think it's a red flag that they're all on this dating app or this dating website anyway, because um, if you're a decent female, you shouldn't have any kind of issues finding somebody out in the real world. Like having to come onto a dating show just means that you are looking for someone to have a good time with. I mean, you could get a relationship out of it, but you guys have endless options outside of like dating apps and dating shows like this. Like you had to put forth effort to get onto her, unless she's got some kind of recruiting service to where she's recruiting females. But other than that, oh, this girl's looking into the camera, so oh, nice.
Be a better communicator for sure.
And our last lady over here, your name and age.
My name is Natalie. I'm 38 years old.
Natalie, what do you do?
I'm a licensed social worker.
And if you want to answer his
Got a lot of 38-year-olds on here, man. I'm 38. It's weird. It's weird that I'm in that dating range or in that range. Because I don't really feel 38 as far as like my body. Now, as far as my experience and stuff, yeah, I think I'm really very experienced for my for what I've done. So I'm not gonna say I'm experienced for my age. I think I've done a lot up until this point, but like I definitely don't look it, so I don't feel it.
question.
The one thing that I would take from my last relationship is that I was too forgiving of behaviors and words that were said. So for instance, if they tell me that they're not ready for a relationship, I need to move on. And in that fact, I was too forgiving and I would give too many chances to like try and prove myself. And that is one thing that I know that I will be taking on moving forward, to not be so forgiving.
Okay.
Let's head on back.
I don't know. I like the girl in the white here. She's a little on the thick side, but like she looks healthy. Like, shoot, she looks like she probably does a lot of walking. It's kind of hard to tell, but like she definitely looks like she takes care of her exterior.
And now, what about for yourself? What's something you learned from your last relationship?
Communication is key. Without communication, the relationship, it'll become stagnant, and you really won't know your partner like you should. So communication is key, and that's what I take.
Okay, so you did hear a lot of responses. It's now time to pop 2 balloons.
Okay. So we're gonna go down here first.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead. I'm gonna let you pop your 2 first, and then we'll see why.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, and then one more.
They all had similar answers, so this is.
Yo, he's struggling because a lot of times they will disqualify the man first. Nobody has popped their balloons yet, so.
Oh, okay.
Ah, I was wrong. She didn't. You know what? She did that because she didn't want to be rejected. So remember, women don't like to be rejected. So he probably, I might have missed it, but he probably gave her some eye contact. So she wanted to beat her to the punch.
So let's go to the one you ended up popping, and then
Okay.
we'll come back to her. All right. So why did you have your balloon unpopped?
Physically, I do find him to be attractive. The cliche of I want to hear him out and hear more of what he had to say. But yeah, so that was it, really.
I see. And why did you end up popping her balloon?
Honestly, you're attractive. You're amazing. I love your answer. But when you started talking, you got the gemstones on your teeth. And I just honestly just wasn't a fan of that. Yeah.
Hey, to each their own. What can I say?
Like, I don't think women understand this. Like, when they do things that are unnatural, like it doesn't. Oh my god! It just like it's one of the biggest triggers, like, to turn us off. Like, we like we like natural. Like, I mean, these highlights in the hair, that's fine. Like wearing like a small tattoo like this, I wouldn't have any problems doing it. Like if it was lower, um, that would be a red flag. But like wearing jewelry, having piercings on the ears, that's fine. But when you start having piercings all over your face, like your eyebrow, your nose, like, I mean, if you have, I don't know, every guy's gonna be different, but for the most part, I'm trying to speak generally. Like having piercings all over your face is gonna be a turn off, because it's just not natural, and it shows that you want attention, and there is a correlation to like the more things you do to your body as far as like tattoos and piercings, it's almost like self harm. So women tend to self harm to deal with the traumas in their past. Um, that's just that's just how they cope. That's how women cope when they're being when they're dealing with trauma. So trauma can come in a couple of different ways. It could be abuse. It could be just not having a father figure. Could have could have to do something with having a very bad partner, like a first partner. Like she can she like, I've heard of like women getting tatted up and piercings after their first, after losing their virginity. So it's crazy, man. It's not like that for men though. Like you see men with a bunch of piercings and tattoos and stuff. It really depends on how much and where. So um notice like in jail, the jail and military men will definitely get a bunch of tattoos, just because it's a masculine thing. It's more of a masculine trait. So that's another thing that I mean, tattoos on a woman is fine. Just depends on where and how much. So that's just my take on that.
It's there, but I can take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not forever.
Like you put it yourself, or you had to get it like
I
implanted?
put it I implant it.
Like,
No.
you know, some people actually do that.
If I had to take it off tonight, I could take it off.
Okay,
Yes.
I see. All right. Thank you.
But each their own.
But she's got a nice smile too. Look at her. Like her face is very symmetrical. It's very oval. Um, like she's not terrible looking. They all have lashes though. Like I want to see what they look like without their lashes.
Yeah. And then we did get a pop over here. Why'd you end up popping your balloon?
I popped because I feel like when I was giving my answers, I could tell you were like looking around, trying to figure some things out. So I just didn't feel that connection there when I was.
Yeah, she wanted to take herself out of the pool to escape from the uneventful rejection. So that's basically what she says. She also has nice hair. I like her outfit in a way. Like women are definitely showing more skin these days, man. But like she is, as far as 2025 goes, man. There's if you show too much skin, it just makes you look like you're a sex worker. That's all. I mean, I guess this would be considered appropriate. I mean, if you really want a conservative chick, she's not going to be showing much. So none of these chicks are conservative. I could tell.
Answer. But you're attractive. I love
I
your
appreciate
fit.
it.
Yeah, but just didn't feel that connection.
And now she's someone that's your type?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Honestly, it's difficult up here, because everybody's attractive. So you're trying to figure something out on the fly, right? So I do apologize for that, but my focus was on you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Look at this cameraman.
Okay, we now have 4 ladies left. Go ahead and ask them another question.
So, who is the most important man in your life, and what qualities stand out about him to you?
Oh man, he's looking for a father figure. So he's looking for either a father figure or a masculine figure. He's trying to make sure that these women have been guided by a strong masculine man, because as we've seen from dating studies from women and men, if you do not have a masculine man, male figure, then you're more likely to grow up having or making bad decisions. So, um, me personally, without my father, I'd definitely be in jail because I grew up and I was very much a kleptomaniac, probably in my teenage years. So, one time, actually, it was a couple of times. I got stopped by the cops one time. My dad kind of grilled me for that. So, and then other times, it's just like I made some really very bad choices as a teenager, and he corrected me fairly quickly. Um, and this is not to go against all the good mothers out there, but like once men or once little boys get to a certain age, like we have the physical capacity to overpower our mother. So this is why we need fathers, because I couldn't do anything physically to my father. So he had the disciplinary capabilities to stop me in my tracks. Whereas for women, um, so it's gonna be two different scenarios, because women typically befriend their daughters, so they treat them like a friend instead of like a daughter, like an authoritative. Um, and then with their sons, they don't understand the masculine imperative. We have a burden of performance, so you can't just we can't our lives cannot be easy. We have to have a difficult upbringing. Like, and I'm not talking about like poverty and stuff. I'm talking about like we need to scrape our knee. We need to get to fights. We need to learn how to deal with those fights. Um, we need to learn how to be in a tribe full of other boys doing boy stuff. So we don't get that. You don't really see that in a single mother household. Like it's there's too much evidence surrounding that's not the case. So like my parents don't even know that I used to do some very crazy stuff. Like I used to jump off waterfalls. Like, man, what kind of mother would let their kids jump off a waterfall? Now, my parents, nobody knew that I was doing that, but like these are the things that made me a man later on. Because if I could do that, then I can handle a lot of shit. Like nothing is gonna phase me because I've jumped off some waterfalls, which is scary. It was like 2 or 3 stories high, so it's a long way down. You could die easily if you hit the water wrong. So um, there was some other stuff I did, man. Got into a lot of fights. Got my ass whooped a couple times. I even won a few fights, man, even before I did martial arts. So there's a difference. There's a difference in how a man grows up with or without a father. So it's the same from a female.
Okay, let's start their comeback. All right, who's the most important man in your life, and what qualities stand out about him?
It's definitely my father. He is a genuine person. He loves my mother. And I just feel like I've seen what it looks like to have a husband who is funny. He likes to have fun.
So I just thought about something. He phrased that question very smartly. He could have easily asked a very direct question. Hey, are your parents still together? He could have asked that, but he asked it in a sneaky way. So like men out here get very clever at the way they ask questions. So he kind of knows.
He was actually at a probate yesterday because he's an alpha, and so he still has fun even in his old age. But
She's
he's also
making good eye contact too. So
serious, and so yeah, he is my example.
Okay.
Okay, what about over here?
I would have to echo her sentiments. My dad is the most important man in my life right now. He is just an extremely unique individual, and he always taught me to always be myself and to love people.
For sure.
And let's hear from you over here.
I'd have to say my grandfather. He's my favorite person in the world. He's so amazing. He just is a provider. He cares about us. He takes care of us. I mean, even now, like, he gets my oil changed. So, like, I'm just used to he's just somebody who he takes care of the household. He takes care of 2 households. So I just love him. Yeah.
And what about here?
I would say the same. My grandfather, he was so kind, and his love for the Lord was amazing. Like, that's what I strive to to be. And he just loved love. He recently passed away the day before Valentine's Day, and it's just so coincidental because
Man, I gotta be I was distracted by her forehead, man. Like, if you have a big head, you should not be wearing this hairstyle. I don't know. That's just me, man. Like, at least have some bangs. Like, if you got a big head like that, yo, you don't, man. Oh man, I'm not even gonna play it, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. I was distracted by the dome.
he was just so loving, so kind. He was also a provider. I didn't have to think about anything when I was with my granddad, and he was 95.
Notice how all my comments are all mostly physical is because that's what men that's how we think. Like, we have to judge you by your physical because we don't know anything about you. We don't know if you're telling the truth. So whereas men, women have to get as much knowledge possible about a man. Like, obviously it's going to be physical attraction first, but then after that, we need to, like, I just said we. I mean, women need to know what you do, what your ambition is, and how you treat people. They want to know that you treat people with respect, because it's going to be an indicator of how you prevail in the real world. So,
And that's exactly the kind of man that I want to marry one day. And he taught me about vulnerability and all that stuff. So I'm a completely different person thanks to my granddad. So
That's a good question. All right, I am gonna have you pop one balloon.
Okay.
he's going to pop hers right here.
Right here.
Boom.
Okay. So why was your balloon unpopped?
I
I'm
think
telling you, most men think alike, man. We go for the most attractive female. Now, there are going to be some underliers, like if she has a bad attitude. So if she's attractive with a bad attitude, you're probably going to pop that balloon. But like, I'm thinking he's going to pick this chick right here because she's got a nice body. I don't really like the opening on her blouse here. But other than that, man, like, she's trying to show. This is just the outfit she picked, so she's trying to show that she is somewhat fit. So I can understand that.
he's attractive.
Thank you.
You seem well put together, and
I don't know, like, this leopard dress, but I don't know, man. She's got to lose a little bit of weight. That's all. She seems like she has a decent personality.
like you have a good head on your shoulder. So that's why I didn't unpop.
Okay. And why'd you end up popping hers?
The other three ladies, they seem a little bit more outwardly extroverted than you. So that's the only reason why. They're beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you more of an introvert?
I turn both on and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough up here. I get it.
It's all good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's kind of. I guess she's like an ambivert. I guess I'm kind of the same way. Like, I'm mostly an introvert, but if I'm around a bunch of extroverts, I'll probably be at some point an extrovert, but then I'll go back to my roots. I'll fall asleep because talking too much makes me sleepy. I'm sleepy right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, 3 ladies left. Go ahead and ask them another question.
Okay. Question would be, if there was one thing your partner could do that'd make you immediately smile and have butterflies in your stomach, what would it be?
Okay, let's go here.
He's trying to get them to think.
I would say just like small touches, like touch me on my back or, just little things when I'm not expecting it. Just small, like not words of affirmation, but touches of affirmation.
Okay.
I respect that.
What about over here?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Thoughtful gifts. I like thoughtful gifts are nice. Yeah.
Nice. And over here.
I love to dance, and so I would just love to have a partner while we're cooking, just to like grab me, twirl me around, and just dance in the kitchen. That would just make my heart melt.
Okay.
Okay. And what about for yourself? I know they want to know.
Honestly, just words. Hey, like, how was your day? How are you? I was in a situation before where I didn't get that. So, that resonates with me. So words of affirmation is my love language, my first one. So that's what it is.
All right. Time to pop a balloon. Oh, okay.
Oh no, what the hell? She was waiting. She was just waiting for a time to pop the balloon. Like they do not want to be rejected. I'm telling you.
Hey, let's
She
come
said
this way.
gifts.
Why'd you end up popping your balloon?
So I was like, I really didn't want to pop. I think you're attractive and I love what you
Appreciate you.
do. I think your career is great and like what you have going on. I'm very into men with purpose and who are high achieving. So I think that that's awesome. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I just don't have anything to pop on him. But I do feel like you're a little
She's disqualifying herself because she knows she could be with this guy, but like he's probably too qualified to be with her. So she's hiding. There's something about her that she doesn't feel measures up to him. So
bit older. I mean, I'm
Okay.
open. That's why I was like, should I wait? Because I'm open
For
to
sure.
dating somebody a little bit older. But I'm
I didn't catch how old she was, but
used to dating people who are maybe like younger looking. And so
that's where it is. Okay, so like I said, man, this guy he fits. He looks 38. I'm not saying he looks older than that. He looks 38. So she's basically saying he's overweight. She doesn't want to say it though because the the best metrics to make yourself look younger is to eat right and exercise. And what does that do? It lowers your body fat. So, if he were probably in better shape, um, she may have probably stuck around. So,
that's kind of it. It's not a lot. You're awesome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. And I just want them to I want them to have a chance. I want you to have a chance with somebody. Yeah.
Got you.
Now she's
oh man, okay, never mind.
someone that's your type.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say like, and for a guy to show off his fit, they usually wear tight shirts, but then a lot of women don't like that. So I could see why he chose that outfit. Because so when I'm going to the gym, without taking your shirt off, you want to show people that you're fit and that you're trying to stay in shape. So you wear like compression shirts and stuff like that to show that you're thin and muscular. So, but a lot of women will like on a dating show like this, they'll disqualify you for wearing tight fit. So, they do wear. There is a way to wear a fitted T-shirt, like a dress shirt, without it being too gym sellish. They don't want you to come to a dating show looking jacked like you just came from the gym. So he's not wrong, but like if you were fit, you'd be wearing more of a fitted casual shirt. So just something to look for or just something to think about. So as of right now, most people that are overweight and trying to hide their overweightness will wear loose clothes like this. I've done it myself. So
I usually go for women who are a little bit taller, but she's very beautiful. Yeah, so definitely my type.
Thank you. All right, our two ladies left. Any questions for him? You ready? Okay.
Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
Okay. In the next 2 years,
women will ask that question a lot to see see if you have a plan, see if you have a goal, because they are looking for someone long term. So these are the types of things that women will look for in a man if they're vetting for long term security. Like they're looking for see if he's a provider, if he's capable of leading. So if he has a plan, if he has a goal, as if he has ambition, he's usually going to have a good future.
getting a promotion with my company, and then also growing my bakery business. Yeah, so those are the two things that I see myself going in.
So he's 38. So at this point in his life, he should already have set his goals. So at 38, he's probably in the phase where he is just growing on top of what he has already accomplished. So I'm kind of at that point right now. I feel like I feel like I'm really a little bit behind the curve, but like right now I don't really have any new goals. I have the goals I'm working on, and I'm just growing from that. So it's more like when you get your first paycheck and you're trying to buy a new car or something, you're just stacking money until you can get that car. That's where I'm right now. I'm stacking until I can get more of what I want. So
in the next 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about over here?
I'm curious about a life philosophy or motto and why that is for you, if you have one.
I don't won't necessarily say I have a life philosophy. Um, One thing I always think about is, you know, just striving for results, driving for results and failing fast. If you have a short-term memory, you're able to like just move on to something else really, really quickly.
He speaks very clearly too. Like a lot of times you get these guys out here, they're stuttering. They have a hard time putting together their thoughts, but I think he's doing a good job right now. So
And just having that mentality to where you just attack each and every day the same way.
I'm telling you, he's gonna get with this chick in the white, man. I know it.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're down to our final two. It is time to pop a balloon.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you had another question?
Well, follow up to that. Where do you see yourself? So I was looking for a specific answer. Do you see yourself getting married, having kids? Like, what's the family goals?
Well, you asked for 2 years. Like, look, man, in 2 years, I do not see myself getting married to a chick I just met. So, like, I don't know, man. Everybody's gonna have their different opinions about everything, but like, I can hide who I am in 2 years. Like, people can. So, it's gonna take. If you're gonna ask me what I plan to do in 10 years, and I tell you, hey, I plan on getting married after a chick I just met 2 years ago. So, usually it takes a longer to vet for marriage, man. Like people can change on a dime. So
Of yours?
My family goals, it's interesting because I always thought I would have a family, kids by the time I was 25. Obviously that didn't happen, right?
Yep, he's in the same boat as I thought I would have. I thought I'd have all that too, man. Shit, man. We grew up on the same boat, man.
Right? We all have these ideals. But in the next 2 years, going towards that. Marriage in 2 years is fast, but
It's exactly what I just said, man. I'm telling you, men think alike, man.
if you find your partner and you all speak to each other and that happens, then that happens. Never put a time limit on anything. But yeah, on that trajectory for sure.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to pop.
Okay.
All right. And why'd you end up popping?
Just because I want someone who is marriage minded and focused on building a family, and time is, you just never know what can happen, but I want someone that has that.
So, it's weird that she says that. Like, marriage isn't really on a man's mind until he meets the right girl. It's just not. We don't think about marriage like that. We may think about kids, but like we don't. We just don't. We don't. It's not a goal until it becomes a goal, and that only happens when we meet the right person, when we think is the right person. So like out so it's kind of different with a woman. A woman will say, "Oh, I want kids someday," but she failed to put out that she actually wanted a husband that she loves and respects. So you got to find that husband that you love and respect before you can have kids. So with a man, it's like, yeah, I want to get married, but like I got to build my business first before I get married. So I have that security. I had that provisioning. We don't have to worry about finances because I have that all together. So I can't really do that when I'm trying to worry about keeping our relationship together. So, and I think that's what happened to me early in life. Like I tried to do it backwards. Whereas like um, the woman should find a man that is going places, and she can find that before she turns 25. I mean, obviously people used to get married in their late teens, early 20s. It just seems to get pushed up with every 30, 40 years. I guarantee you people are going to start getting married to like 40 or 50 years old, man. And I'm talking about first marriages. Like, we're not getting younger. So you got to build that family. You got to build that front line. You got to build healthy children. So you get the younger a woman has children, the more healthier the children comes out. So obviously it's going to depend on the man's genetics too. So, but I just find it funny that you're not going to find a man on a dating show who's thinking about marriage. He wants to vet you. He wants to make sure that you can even hold a relationship with one guy, let alone marriage. Like, I don't know, man. You can't pressure these guys into marriage because they put more investment into the relationship typically because once they choose you monogamously, that means they have to give up looking for other chicks. I mean, that's only if you want a guy that's going to be monogamous. So you're basically giving up his ability to source other women. So once he commits to you, that's it. Because we know that the women will break up with the man if he's looking at other chicks. So um, yeah, it's just weird. Um, if I met a chick today and she's talking about marriage on the first date, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to eat tomorrow. But not really. I don't think about food that much. Damn, what do I think? I think about swords and shit. That's about what I think about. Yeah.
That on their forefront of their mind. So
Okay, for sure.
Now she's someone that's your type.
For sure. Like I said, I usually talk to taller women. She's very beautiful, very attractive, great career. So yeah, definitely for sure.
Thanks. You. We do have our last lady over here. So just want to ask as well, is she someone that's your type?
She is. She is.
Damn, I called it, man.
All 32 out. Come on up here.
Now that's only if she doesn't pop her balloon up here because a lot of chicks will do that. They'll be like, "Oh, I beat all you bitches. Now I'm gonna pop my balloon because I just want to wait. I want to see what their options are after this guy." So I think that's what happens, man. Like, cause their Instagrams, they know each other's Instagrams. Like, well, I didn't get to find the guy that was after you, so I'm gonna come back to you. So I'll be like, "Fuck no."
I'll have you stand on that side of
Yeah,
me.
she's got nice
you'll stand
legs.
over here. Okay, y'all. Any final question between the two of you before we determine if we've got a match?
How would your friends describe you?
Funny,
She's looking for pre-selection right there. So
outgoing.
see, in my case, I'm like, all my friends hate me. They always call me stupid names. So I mean, I'd actually tell them the truth too. I'm like, that's what they do, man. I don't really have friends that really back me up like that. So fuck it. I'm gonna tell you the truth because you're gonna see that shit on social media anyway, man. You go to my Facebook, man. Y'all motherfuckers trashing my comments and shit, man. Fuck you guys, man.
Inspirational. I have a group of around like 50 fellas that we always motivate each other every single day.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
You know 55 people.
Yeah, I
Closely.
do. Like closely. Yeah, and we all push each other every day.
Oh yeah, that turned her on, man. Like that basically says that he has status. So like, now I'm not gonna say all women, but like most women, we like that. Most women like a guy that is liked by other men and or wanted by other women. So that's usually what women look for. They want to know that you have social proof and social status. So
Whether it may be something physical along the lines of working out or within like your work sector, we push each other every day. So yeah, that's what they would describe me as.
And you're good with questions? You have a last one? One last one. If you have one.
Do you have any children?
No.
No. Okay.
oh, that's crazy. Like she's very attractive. Like every time I go out in public, man, and I'd be like, I'm gonna see like I would talk to that girl, and then I know she has kids because she's attractive. Like most women that are attractive usually have kids, especially in the Midwest. So definitely not in the other cities. I'm not talking about like the party cities and stuff. Like we know most women in those cities, like Miami, Las Vegas and stuff. There, a lot of them don't have children, even though they're super attractive, because they're living that nightlife. So they don't want children. But here, like attractive women typically meet a guy and have kids with very early in life. So, which is fine as long as you keep that family together. But it's kind of an L if you don't.
I don't either. So
Okay.
Yo,
Well, let me ask my
I
question.
saw that match. I saw that match probably about halfway through this. Be like, I knew that chick was gonna get scooped up.
Then, is it a yes for you for him?
Yo,
And is it a yes
she's
for
the most attractive one there.
you for her?
for sure.
We got a match. I'll take the mic.
There you go.
And you guys can go on off. Get your girl. Make some noise for them ladies.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, I don't have time to be doing the other ones. I might have to reconjoin this one because I want to get to the Pearl one. So we're gonna go to the other one. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, man. I kind of called that. So I like to watch these without like watch it because I just ain't got that much time to waste. So um hold on. So we're gonna do this. Obviously I'm not gonna put any links in there because everybody knows who Pearl is. Most people that's in this space know who she is. The Pop the Balloon. All you gotta do is really type that into the search bar and you can find that. So this I know that she did this interview with this chick maybe like a couple months ago. Maybe yeah, a couple months ago or so. But she was just releasing clips. I didn't know there was like a full interview, so I thought I watched the whole thing. But this is from the beginning, so we're gonna check this out. I haven't seen this yet, so this could be a very high IQ conversation, but we're gonna see.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Sit Down. I am your host, Pearl, and today I have a special guest, Bronte Remzik. Welcome to the show. Family medical resident, right?
Yes.
And TikTok sensation. You have over 500,000 followers on TikTok. And I would say your content is pro-feminist, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
And anything I missed?
No, not
No?
necessarily. That's pretty much sums it up.
Welcome to the show. First off, I want to say thank you so much for coming. You came all the way out to our Chicago studio. And I always appreciate sitting down with people that disagree. And so I think it's great that we can do this.
Yeah, I agree. I've come across your videos quite a few times, and I've had a lot of my audience ask me, like, oh, have you ever thought about talking to Pearl? And then you reached out to me. So I was like, perfect. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
So I think me and you maybe have different views on feminism. So why don't we start with what your general, I really just want to understand your general worldview. So what is your definition of feminism?
So my definition of feminism is probably the broad overarching definition, which would be wanting equal opportunity and representation for women and, feminine presenting people. I think that we should be equally represented in political and other kinds of positions of power. I think that we should be advocated for in our unique life circumstances and the things that make us, uniquely feminine. And I think that we need to ensure that women have all the opportunity that men are afforded.
Okay. So is your view today that we're not being given the opportunity?
So feminists do not believe in a meritocracy. They believe that everything should be given to them, but they don't understand that men have to earn their keep. Like, um, it's just this. I don't understand this whole feminist movement because it wasn't the majority of women that really wanted the feminist. Didn't want feminism. It was probably a minority. So they basically ruined it for everybody. They ruined the family unit. Like we can go all the way back to 1965. I mean, we've heard this 1,000 times. Everybody's repeating the same thing. So um, I think everybody should do their own research because I'm just another guy on the internet talking about the same stuff that people have been talking about for the last 25 years. So I'm just reacting to this video. I just want to see what the conversation is like. I'm not really going to go too in depth in stuff that people has already talked about. I mean, if you're coming to my channel watching this, it's because you've already been to other channels talking about this. So I'm just going to give my take on some of this stuff. So
that we are like, what is your view on feminism historically and like, where is it needed today?
Yeah, so I think where this conversation, especially in sort of like conservative spheres, gets confusing is that you tend to focus more on like legal barriers, that there's no laws that are preventing women from obtaining certain opportunities, applying for certain jobs, going to schools, things like that. Where the more nuanced and modern view is there are no longer any legal barriers, but there are still plenty of societal barriers. There's a lot of discrimination, things like not having like maternity leave, the caregiving gap, things like that, that disproportionately inhibit women from being able to go after certain opportunities because of the responsibilities that heavily, rely on us instead of having a lot of that labor and unpaid domestic labor seen, respected, and divided.
Okay, so how does that translate in 2024? Like, how would that have affected me, for example?
Well, I can't speak to you and your life experience, but
Women get plenty of maternity leave. Like they're not gonna have you guys go to work after you get pregnant, and that's another thing. Like once a woman gets pregnant, she can't work. You can't work when you have a belly. I mean, yeah, when you have a belly, when you have a child growing inside of you. That's not the same thing with men. Men have to still go to work. So, because our bodies aren't effective. So this is one of the things where, um, this is why I still believe in the traditional family unit. Like we went away from tradition, and now we have a bunch of people talking about, oh, I need my woman to work, but then who's going to pay the bills? How you gonna pay? How you gonna pay the bills for a two-income household by yourself when she stops working because you got her pregnant? Like, I mean, you wouldn't marry a chick that you are not planning to have children with. So, um, I mean, I have my thing for that. Like, if like say if I got with a working woman right now, she works what 8 hours a day. I'm gonna make sure I make. I'm gonna well it would be in my best interest to make 56% more than she does so I can pay for a lifestyle where her money isn't necessary a necessity. So it's nice to have her buy her own stuff and to buy me stuff, but like as far as the lifestyle goes, if something were to happen to where she gets either pregnant or she's out of the workforce, like she doesn't want to work because women are less likely are more likely to get out of the workforce before men for whatever reason, because they're just not built like men. So I can work till I'm 60. Am I? Not really. I plan on being retired way before then. But um, that's why I always tell men, like, make sure you get your money up to the point where you're providing the lifestyle, that you're paying the bills and stuff. Because if she leaves the workforce, um, you can't force her to go to work. She doesn't want to go to work. Um, Otherwise, she's going to break up with you and find a guy who can. So, um, yeah, that's just my take on that.
I can speak to
yeah,
mine.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
So as a woman in medicine, that is a very long journey. I got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, my doctorate, and now I have my.
Yeah, but just like a guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, but I'll explain to
Okay,
you
yeah, go ahead,
how
go
it
ahead,
has
sorry.
affected me. So, and I'm currently in residency, which is my postdoctoral
I'm going to speed this up a little bit. We need to because I need to get on the road here soon. So we're going to go 125.
training. And so a lot of this I've needed to dedicate 80 plus hours a week to studying, to working in order to be able to have my dream job. And so something like starting a family has needed to be delayed because
This is why the birth rates are so low, is because women are like, she's not unattractive. She could easily get a husband in her early 20s. I don't know. She's got to be in her close to 30. Like, is that when you want to start making a family? Like, how many kids do you want to have so when you start having kids at 20, you could have up to like 5, 6 kids. But like, if you're pushing it off to like 30, your chances of having more kids go down. Now she probably can afford more kids, but she won't have more kids because the older she is, the more risky the pregnancy will become. So this is why the marriage rate for women for first marriage is at 31, something like that. And then the birth rate has lowered because they're pushing off having kids. So it's not the case with men. Men can push off because a man at 38, my age, can still get with a younger woman and have a family with. So, um, this is why feminism has broken the family unit, because they're prioritizing their career, and they're taught to do this. It's not their fault. They're indoctrinated with this kind of nonsense. So, but yeah.
from a biological perspective, I have to keep in mind that I do have a bit of a time clock, but that the academic path that I've been on has primarily been designed for men, and there's not the opportunities available to me to take pauses and to take maternity leave and to do a lot of the things that women have to do in order to be able to go after the things that we want and get everything we want out of life. And so and also there was a lot of times when I was in pre-med where people would be like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Like that's a very male dominated field, things like that. And so there was constant doubt being pushed at me from a young age of like whether or not I should do this, whether or not I could do this. And none of my male peers ever encountered that. And the same thing with like people would ask me about oh, but like, what about starting a family? Like, oh, why are you choosing your career over family? And none of my male peers.
I just got distracted. Oh my God, what the hell? Yo, this camera's crazy, man. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think it's good that we have female doctors though, as long as you take your like you gotta know what you're giving up though. But I think we do need female doctors just for the simple fact that we have female patients that probably are more comfortable with having a female doctor. So, um, yeah.
Ever had that question. And so from a societal perspective, it's really just the assumption that women can't have both career and family. And it's not true, but a lot of those barriers are because we don't allow our system to.
Nobody's saying that it's not true. It's just unlikely. If you were to get a family first, then start on your career, you could do that. So I became a truck driver in my early 30s. So, I mean, if I were a woman, you could do the same thing. But I mean, obviously, I'm just using that example to start. But like, if you want to be like a lawyer or something, you could start that afterwards. I guarantee you probably won't. You're gonna prioritize your family first, and that's what they don't understand. But on the other side, man, there's a lot of men out here who are kind of weak-minded. So I could see why people are pushing them towards getting their career and stuff. So it's kind of like it's almost like a lose-lose situation. You're gonna lose a lot of times because once you get that career and stuff, you get your money up, the more likely you're not going to find a guy who measures up to your status. So um, her as a doctor, she's not going to meet a guy who makes that much money and going to be willing to commit to her. So it just doesn't really happen unless he's like a real super simp. I mean, you're going to find that, but she's not going to be attracted to him at all.
Accommodate for those needs and the differences that men and women have when it comes to enduring pregnancy, childbearing, childcare, things like that.
So you started with academic. How are there barriers in the academic field when the majority of scholarships in STEM go to women?
Yes.
And there's women for STEM, like there's entire parts of organizations that are pushing women to go into STEM, and it's really not the same for men.
Right. And so I think, again, this goes towards like you have this idea of more strict legal or like actual barriers to access, where I'm talking in a more nuanced way of the timeline that women find themselves in, people who are already mothers, people who want to become mothers. A lot of it does come down to families and child rearing and the responsibilities that you have to balance both academically and with your family. But even outside of like the family dynamic, just the discrimination that women will experience when it comes to us wanting to achieve these higher level degrees and these more rigorous academic and like professional settings. A lot of people will automatically have doubt that we're capable of doing it. And that comes from like a societal.
Who are the people? Like, who was saying this to you? Was it like, how often did this happen?
It happened a lot, especially in undergrad when I was pre-med. I was in
was it from your family? Was it once a week? Like, I'm trying to understand the frequency of this discrimination.
Yeah, so not my immediate family. My immediate family has always been my biggest cheerleaders, but definitely extended family, people. I was in a sorority in Texas, so definitely people who I encountered in undergrad. A lot of my professors and advisors, like they'd be like, oh, you know, this is a really rigorous path to go down. Like, are you sure that you want to? And then I would speak to a lot of my male peers who were like in pre-med, the same track as me. And I'd ask like, has anyone ever told you like you couldn't do this or that you should think about something else? And they would all say no.
Do you think it's because women quit more? Because I mean, the data shows that women quit careers in STEM quicker than men.
Right. And that goes back to what I was talking about, right? Because you have to look at the reasons that they're quitting. And a lot of times it's because of things like discrimination against them, which creates a hostile work environment and a hostile academic environment, or they're not able to balance like the needs of their family.
What is the discrimination? It just sounds like it's words you don't like. Like people say words that they don't like to men all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm here, right? Yeah. I'm a doctor now, so it didn't bother me. But I think it's pretty disingenuous to believe that those words don't have an impact because words do matter. And when undergrad is 4 years plus, my master's was 1 year, my doctorate was 4 years. And so that's 9 years of my life that I've had to endure people constantly bringing doubt to my ability to accomplish this goal. And I did it anyways, and I'm extremely proud of that. But I also, let me finish, I also don't fault a lot of women for giving into that pressure and having those years and years of people pushing that doubt onto them. Of course, it's going to seep into a lot of them and they're going to have that self-doubt because
People are gonna doubt you no matter what you do in life, man. It's um it's just people like to see themselves in your shoes. So there's a lot of things that I wanted to do when I was growing up. Like I wanted to be an NBA player. A lot of people were doubting me, which is fair because statistics will tell me that like at 5'8", 5'9", you have to be extremely skilled as a basketball player to make it in the NBA. Um so people will definitely doubt you. I wanted to be a PBA bowler. People doubted me on that. It wasn't until I got a little bit older I realized, man, people are gonna doubt you no matter what the hell you do. So you might as well pick something and do it to the best of your ability. So um, it's you can't blame other people because that's just human nature. So people are just gonna doubt you because they have some underlying cope mechanism that they're dealing with. They're probably doubting themselves and their goals and dreams. So they have no other way to express that other than to doubt other people. So that's just how it happened. That's just how it goes. So yep.
Because of all of the external doubt that's fed their way.
Yeah, but I think the world doesn't care. And men understand when they go into the world that the world does not care about their problems and how they feel. And the problem is women go into a man's world and think that the world should care about how they feel and their problems.
See, and I think of
Oh, I've had that before. So if anybody's really familiar with the job that I do is I deliver on the Family Dollar account. It's the old style not the rolltainers, it's the old roller system. So um I've trained several women on this account and I've showed them exactly how to do it in the best way possible without breaking a bunch of freight. And it's like they'd never seen um this type of work done like in the way that I did it. So it's like you got to be extremely physical. You got to have a lot of and you got to have some kind of endurance, and then you got to be able to do it without taking a shit ton of breaks. So a lot of women that come into the trucking industry and get on a Family Dollar account, what I'm doing, they usually don't last long. I mean, some I've seen one last like a few months. I was like, damn, keep going. But I don't think she's here anymore. So, like I said, man, like when you come into a man's world, we deal with a lot of stuff that just isn't for women, and there's nothing wrong with that because if we were to enter your world, we wouldn't be able to handle it either because we're just not built to do the stuff that you guys are put on this earth to do. So, this is why I've been doing this content because I want people to understand that when you have a role and you go and you understand it, things work a lot smoothly. If you watch basketball like the NBA, if you got a bunch of you got your superstars, you got your all-stars, and you got your role players. You got one, two, three. Everybody knows who's one. Everybody know who number one is. They typically know who number two is. Number three is kind of usually a toss up. Sometimes there's not a number three. There's usually one and two and a bunch of role players. But we call them role players is because we don't want them overstepping one and two because if we do, they aren't as efficient or impacting of the game as they are. So one to two is usually going to be the most defensive or offensive force of the team. So if you don't understand that, the coach, the organization is going to fail because they don't understand their roles. Um, and this is why a lot of basketball players move around is because they don't like their roles. So, like, if you look at the Cavs right now, they're doing very good. They got a bunch of people. I'm not saying all of them are happy, but like a lot of them want more playing time. But they understand the rookies understand they're not going to get as much playing time as the guys who've been there longer because that's not their role right now. So until somebody gets hurt or injured, that's usually when they step up. When the newer guys step up. It's the same thing in relationships. The man has to go out, hunt, kill, provide, and um, be a protector of the family unit. That's not the woman's job. The woman's job is to make sure he has a home to come to. She's supporting of him and the children because if she doesn't support the man can't go out and do his duty to protect and bring home the meat. So it's only until the 21st century where women are now providers, but they're not protectors because they don't have the testosterone and the muscle density to do that. So what do we do now? So we get with men, we try to be equal with, and that's just not arousing. Women are breaking up with those guys. So who are the men left with? Men are left with women who are just too masculine but not feminine enough to cater to their mission, basically. So I said a lot there, but it just, dude, it makes, when you see the dots, you start connecting, you start understanding how the world works and how it and why it doesn't work when it doesn't, because of people are just out of their roles, like they're trying to do things that they're not really built to do. So um yeah, it's just funny. Obviously there's gonna be outliers. There's some women that could beat the shit out of men, but it's very minor. So you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that, man.
Of it as the opposite way. I don't think that it's good that men's feelings aren't cared about. I think that we should care about everyone's feelings. I think that we should realize that our words
That's bullshit. Nobody cares about my feelings. Fuck you.
matter, and the way that our words impact people matter. And it shouldn't go to like, oh, well, men don't care, so we should just say whatever we want and you shouldn't care. I think it's the opposite. I think that we need to be more compassionate and we need to understand the way that we impact people.
And that's totally great if we have a wish list, but this is the real world and not the way that we want the world to be. And the problem is women go into a man's world and they have no idea how harsh it is and how mean they are to.
Yeah, she's talked to a lot of men, so I kind of like, she doesn't understand the male struggle, but she has talked to enough men to get a decent perspective and to formulate an opinion. So she's basically just saying from experience of talking to a lot of men.
To each other. And if you've ever been in a male only dominated environment, like where it's pretty much all men, there's only one or two women, you know, they're harsher than women are. They're more direct. They speak in a different way. And the problem is women go into these spaces and they think that men should talk like women talk, and they don't.
Right. Well, again, I'm a dreamer, right?
Yeah.
I think
when it's not realistic is the point.
And I disagree. I think it's completely realistic to take people's feelings into account. It's
Women are, or I mean, men are shitty to each other, man. It's funny. Like there's a difference between um, like humorous banter versus like hatred. So this is what men do a lot of we do a lot of funny banter with each other. Like we'll make super threats, or like we'll do some stupid shit to each other, like, but it's not because we hate each other. It's because that's just what men do. We like to do physical abuse to each other. So it's kind of funny. Now the worst thing you could do to a man is sleep with their wife. Now that's fucked up. So, or anything that breaks loyalty is what men do not tolerate. So
called empathy. I think that we need to promote empathy. I don't think that we should promote such a callous, harsh world. I think that we all need to be more kind and compassionate to each other. And I also think that the mental health outcomes of men proves that that's not a good way to endure the world.
Right, but good is not hope is not a strategy. The way that we want the world to be isn't how it is. So it's really nice and dandy to say the world should be this way, but it isn't. And men have an understanding of how the world is and they don't complain. So the thing is, you keep talking about.
They complain all the time.
So I'll give.
Yeah, they do complain, but you're talking about the men who are just like super weak and beta. Like this whole like Trump versus Kamala thing, man. Like you'll next time pay attention to the men who are like, just pay attention to the men who wanted Kamala in office. Look at how they are handling their life. So I am for Trump. I'm not gonna say I support every decision that he makes. I really support him for the borders and the crypto, like getting a crypto administration, because I do care about the economy. So I believe that he would have. I believe that the economy would be stronger if he was in office. But at the same time, if he would have lost, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't bitch. I would just adapt to whatever structure the Democratic Party would have had in order. So it's just you have to pay attention to men too, because men will complain, women will complain, but men have to adapt anyway because no one's going to save the men. If women don't get their way, someone's going to save them. Like if women got desperate, they would definitely pick a simp, like for short term. Like she wouldn't be with him for long term. I can guarantee you that. So women have a safety net. Men really don't. So we have to really protect ourselves and to the highest degree.
Give you an example. So you're talking about all this stuff that you endured in your career, and that's fine. I think it's really great that you're a doctor. Like that's very impressive. That's hard to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'll give you props. However, when I have a cousin that works on a crab fishing boat in Alaska, where a guy dies every single week, so that we can get crabs. Like literally one person dies a week on that crab fishing boat in Alaska. I don't have a lot of empathy for people that say these words hurt my feelings and therefore I'm oppressed. They don't complain. They don't cry about work conditions. They just do their job. And it's a male dominated field. Women are not doing those jobs.
Yeah, so that's called the fallacy of relative privation. So saying that somebody else has it worse off means that we shouldn't be able to talk about smaller problems. Like that's a fallacy. Both things can be problems and both deserve to be talked about. I don't think that it's right that one person dies a week on crab fishing boats. I don't eat crab. I don't think it's necessary. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't fish for crab, like whatever, but we shouldn't say, oh, people die all the time in this career, and just because your feelings are hurt, I don't have to care. Like that's not an appropriate way to look at
I
the
think
world.
what I'm getting at is how spoiled it makes people that complain about those things seem when there are men dying to do jobs to give us crab and put different food on the table. Or even the number one workplace fatality for men in the Midwest is logging. So when you're sitting on a chair that's made of wood that a guy died to get here, it makes you look pretty spoiled when we're saying, oh, but people said mean words to me in my career.
See,
and it's not just you. Like I think it's just overall females' careers. We're not really dying to put food on the table. We're not dying to build the buildings. We're not dying to do any of these things. And so I don't think we really have a right to complain that we are so oppressed when men are doing most of the hard jobs in society.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to have that opinion. It's the wrong opinion, but you're allowed to have it. I don't think that anybody should die at their job. I think that if we really want to talk about the way that men enter into these dangerous career paths and the way that their lives are just seen as fodder, like they are just seen as expendable. And I think that's wrong. I think that there is space for both conversations. There's a space to say that men don't deserve to be harmed in their workplace the same way that women don't deserve to be harmed in their workplace.
But men understand that that's the only way things get done.
She doesn't seem like she wants to find a solution. She just thinks that both ways are correct. Like both ways can't be correct. If both ways were correct, we wouldn't be in this dating crisis right now. Like one way is wrong, and feminism has kind of disrupted the evolution of humanity. I would say I would say feminism and technology, because technology has a lot to play in it too. So
I don't agree with that.
Well, you cannot agree, but how else has it ever been done?
Men
have always died to protect and build civilizations.
Yeah, and civilization
Always.
is supposed to progress. Civilization is supposed to improve on itself. If we stay stagnant, then we're doing it wrong. If we're looking at these careers and saying, hey, people are dying, we should look at why they're dying and we should address it and we should fix it. We shouldn't just accept it.
Yeah, and I think that's a very female way of looking at things, because you've never been in that position where you have to pragmatically solve those types of problems. The same way I'm not going to know how to stop the men dying on fishing boats. You're not going to know either.
Right, that's not my job. But there are people who have jobs.
It's easy to say, oh, this shouldn't happen. The same way we could say, like, we shouldn't have anyone die in war, but we want to be safe.
Do you not think that there are people whose job is dedicated to improving worker safety? Like those jobs exist. It's not my job, it's not your job, but those jobs exist. And you should argue that they need to have more responsibility. They need to be doing their job better. Like workers' unions, safety commissions, like there are actual jobs and committees and boards dedicated to worker safety. And if they're not doing their jobs appropriately, then that's a totally separate conversation.
Yeah, and again, this is all stuff that sounds nice, but it's just not very pragmatic. Again, men have always died to protect and build civilization. The difference is in the past, they used to get thank you and an appreciation, and now they don't. Because feminism has convinced women that our jobs are equally as important to men's, and they're not.
Yeah, and the only reason society exists is because it is built on the backs of the unpaid and unrecognized labor of women. Sure, men have died in war, men have died in dangerous jobs, and I would argue that if women were in charge, we would have less war and we would have less death, but that's a whole...
Oh, that's not true.
Women have waged more war in the last 500 years when they were rulers.
Yeah, and you also have to look at who they had as their representatives and for their counsel, because this has been like highly studied that it wasn't necessarily their individual choice. A lot of it was like pressure from their
Whenever
committees.
women make a bad decision, women have the privilege of blaming it on someone else, where men have to take the fall.
That's an interesting perspective. I disagree.
So going back to, do you agree that men do most of the most difficult and needed jobs in society?
No.
Okay. How would society keep running without men doing the infrastructure jobs like logging, fishing, trucking,
Oh, do you mean like in the world wars when men left and women took over those positions and we ran the entire country and took over the jobs that you say that we couldn't do?
No, they didn't take over the majority of the jobs.
We did.
They did. They took over factory positions.
We took over the positions that men
They were
left.
not doing the electrical. They were not doing the plumbing. They were not building the buildings. They were not
There are
paving the
women
roads.
electricians. There are women plumbers. Like
I did some very I don't know if there's a correlation between dangerous and difficult, but I did some of the most difficult and dangerous jobs. So, um like if you're a doctor, um it's not dangerous. It's you're there are people are actually putting their life in your hands. I would say it's difficult, but it's not dangerous. This really depends. Uh, you have to have a certain set of skills to become a doctor, a lawyer, but it's not really difficult because it's just a skill set, just like everything else. So, like for example, when I did cable, you got to have a skill set, but at the same time, it's dangerous and it's difficult. You have to build skill with anything you do. So, same with truck driving. Like you don't see a lot of women out there doing truck driving. There's quite a few of them, but it's overwhelmingly the majority of men doing it because it is a difficult job. So, um, yeah, it's dangerous too. Shit, the wind almost knocked me over the other day. I was like, God damn it, I got to get home. Freaking wind almost knocked me over, man. But yeah.
there are
This woman just tells me that she really can't fathom the lives of like the perspective of men, which she shouldn't. I don't think any woman should understand. Like no woman should have any kind of empathy for men because they just can't. It's just not. It's not in their nature. It's not. I mean, we technically have to understand women more so than women understanding men is because we're the ones approaching women. So, like this woman, I don't know if she's married or anything, but um, she could walk outside and say that she wants a man, and she can get one in 20 minutes. Whereas if like a high performing man does the same thing, no woman in sight is gonna come because women don't really approach men like that. Men have to approach women. So
females in all of these positions. There are
Is it the
female.
majority?
No, because
Okay, so it's not the
historically,
majority.
because you have to take into the historical perspective.
What is stopping a woman today from being a plumber and electrician?
As I said, discrimination.
no, it's not discrimination. They can do it. It's just not. Women aren't signing up to become a plumber. It's just not. There's no discrimination. You have a likely like if women were capable of doing that, they would because plumbing pays a lot of money. It's just hard work. So there's no discrimination. They just suck at it.
There's
Hostile workplaces because they are made to feel as if they don't belong in those spaces. And why would you want to exist in a space?
Now, I'm not too familiar with plumbing. It could be similar to jobs like cable or service jobs like that. But if you're entering a male dominated space, you're going to deal with men who are pigs. Like most men are pigs. I mean, I would say that if you put me in a space where I'm talking to a bunch of men, I'm going to say some really offlandish, indiscriminate things. That's just how men communicate. And I don't think women understand that. We communicate in the most destructive and disgusting ways because it's funny to us. So, um, when women get into the workplace, it's kind of like tone placing. Like we can't really do that around women because they get their, um, it's just not the way they communicate. They don't communicate in the same way that men do. So, um, that's why she's saying it's discriminate because, um, she can turn around. She can talk about, hey man, this man abused me when men abuse men all the time. It's not called abuse. It's just called horsing around. So when you do it to women, it's different. So I think men need to understand that too. So men, you can't do that. You can't play around with your male friends the same way you do with females. So a lot of men kind of are socially unaware of that too. So um, yeah, that's kind of why I don't like. That's why I like to work alone because I don't have to deal with that shit. So
Where you're constantly you're constantly made to feel like you shouldn't be there by the men in those positions. So men will make women feel like they don't belong there and then complain that women aren't there. So
what's your evidence
I don't know if men are complaining that there aren't there. They're complaining that they have no one to fuck. I mean, that's about it. I think that's why they want you there, is because they have someone to hit on. So
that?
What's my evidence
Yeah,
for
what's your
that?
evidence for that?
Oh, they've studied it. They've studied like workplace discrimination.
With women in
in male-dominated fields, yeah.
And they've said that the women feel like they're not wanted.
Yes.
And that's why they're not doing it.
Not just not
That's
wanted,
very
not welcome.
That's very convenient. You know, here's the thing. Men don't care if they're not welcomed. They don't expect people to just accept them into a group like women do, because again, men live in the real world. Women do not. We live in this play pretend world where we're given more credit for what we actually do than we do.
So I've seen you speak many times about the detrimental effects that all of these things have on men's mental health, and that they have a higher rate of suicide, they have all these things. And so I think that it's really interesting that you care a lot, seemingly, about men's mental health, but then at the same time you'll say, oh, men don't care if you're mean to them, men don't care if they're not welcomed. You say all of these things that have an impact on men's mental health. So I think to care about one, you have to recognize how it impacts the other.
What I'm saying is men understand that that's the real world, and they know there's nothing they can do to change that. Women go into a man's world and they expect to be given special treatment and privileges. They expect to be the new guy in a company and feel welcome. I mean, it's not abnormal for men to haze somebody in a new group. You might say that's wrong, but it's not abnormal, and they don't complain, they don't strike, they don't protest. They just accept it, and they accept the world as it is instead of.
Hell, I was hazed by my ninth grade teacher the first day of high school. He made fun of my name. Like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but like he put me on a spot about my first name. Like, and I didn't know what to say about that. Like, so how old was I? I was in ninth grade, so I was 13, 14 years old. 14. So as a 14-year-old, you got your first grade or your ninth grade teacher talking about the name that your parents gave you. So how am I supposed to take that in? So like, they don't do women like that. They don't do girls like that. So like, I'm not complaining or anything. It's just I didn't understand that that was normal. Like, men are just picked on from a young age. Like, we're just picked on from a young age by other men in our peer group or from people older than us. So most people don't pick on me now because I'll beat the shit out of them. So the only time people talk shit to me is online, like motherfucking keyboard warriors. So if anybody did that shit in real life, man, I'll slam your ass. So I have no problems doing it either. So, but yeah, I digress.
Doing a wish list that will never become true.
I mean, do they really accept it, and are they really okay with it when the statistics behind men's mental health proves that it does impact them? They just internalize it. Women make sure that we prioritize empathy and communication. So when we feel like we're not being welcomed, when we feel like we're being wronged, we want to improve the communication to improve the circumstance.
We're better at complaining.
I would say we're better at communication.
We're better at.
Yo, Pearl is a troll. She's a troll, man. She is trying. Oh man, I'm not gonna have time to finish this video. I might have to do it another time because I got to get ready to get on the road. But like, yo, I can see that we're only 18 minutes in this. Like, she really wants. I could see. I've watched Pearl's video. She's not even trying right now. She's trying to have a very civil discussion right now. I could just see that Pearl wants to get under her skin. But the girl here, the doctor, she's toughing it out, man. She's trying not to get in her feelings, but I could see that she disagrees with a lot of what Pearl says. So
complaining about the stuff we don't like, where men don't complain. That's what I said.
Right. They don't complain because they internalize it, and then instead they just unalive themselves. That's not
they don't complain because
strategy.
The world doesn't give them sympathy. Pretty women, young women get it.
She's right about that. Like, I did a lot of I'm not afraid to admit this, but like, I did have a victim mindset in my 20s, and it's not like I did it on purpose. I didn't realize I was doing it though. I kept blaming everybody else except for my own inefficiency. So it wasn't until my 30s so I started taking accountability for my actions. Like, nobody's gonna fucking save me, but no one's gonna pay for my drinks. No one's going to date me because I'm not in the best possible situation that I could be in. So you like, as men, you can't make excuses, man. You just got to go for the gold. And fuck all the haters, man. That's about all you can do, man.
A ton of sympathy on the internet complaining about their problems. It's why they're given 10 times the funding for breast cancer research instead of prostate cancer. It's because people care about women's issues. People do not care about men's issues.
I disagree.
Why?
Why do I disagree?
You could say you disagree, but that's not an argument.
I mean, your arguments are just like, oh, that's silly and I live in reality. Like, you're not giving me any realistic like responses either.
Well, I'm giving you realistic responses. I said
I think what
men do
she
the majority
is
of infrastructure
saying, not damn, hold on.
jobs, they're the majority.
Not Pearl. The reason the other girl is disagreeing is because she's going by what other people say. She doesn't understand that people aren't really doing anything about men's problems. So, society wants women to feel equal to men, which is kind of impossible because we're not genetically the same. The only way you can make us the same if you fucking cut our dicks off and make us more feminized. And we're still gonna have more testosterone. So it's really impossible. You'd have to really do some extreme bioengineering to have us completely equal to women. It's just not gonna happen. Um,
Of workplace deaths. And so based on those two stats, they have a harder work environment and they complain less.
Yeah,
If you
and-
look at the industries that strike and complain, it tends to be female-dominated industries because women are better at complaining.
No,
They
because
want to
we
do less
care-
of the work and they want more of the credit.
We care about how we're treated, as men should care how they're treated. And they do care, they just internalize it. Just because they don't take action doesn't mean that they don't care.
So the next topic I think we're going to go into is, do you think society discriminates more against men or women, or do you think it's equal?
I think that they discriminate more against women, but I don't, that's not to say that men aren't discriminated against in some aspects.
Okay, how are women more discriminated against?
As I've said before, in my own personal experience and statistically.
Other than, can we do something other than just people say mean words to me? Because men, by the time they're 22, somebody said a mean word to them. Usually it's a woman. So anything other than somebody said something I don't like.
Bans. Can you name a law that controls what men can do and access healthcare and the healthcare that men can access? Is there any laws that control men's healthcare access?
Well, if you want to talk about men's body, men are required to go into selective service. So if there is a wartime, they are required to be drafted.
Yeah, and I think that the draft should be abolished.
So you asked for a law, there's a law. There's a way that women's bodies aren't protected. There's a way men's bodies aren't protected.
No, so it's actually, my question was different. My question was, can you name a law that restricts men's access to healthcare?
That restricts men's access to healthcare. No, not off the top of my head.
So there you go. That's one discriminatory
How are women
practice.
restricted access to healthcare? You can drive to another state and get an.
Yeah, well, then that's also not taking into account like socioeconomic factors, right? Because not every person has the ability or the funds or the time to be able to just cross state lines to gain access. We shouldn't have different healthcare access in different states. Your geographical location should not determine your access to a human right.
Okay. Well, again, luckily for women, we have access to.
That's just how the nation was built, though. We all have every state has a different governor. If you don't like the laws in your state, move. I mean, it sucks, but that's just the way. That's the way the democracy voted. So,
to birth control, abstinence, and even you can even track your cycle and not get pregnant. So I think there's plenty of options beforehand that it really isn't an excuse if you have an unplanned pregnancy.
So actually about 50% of unplanned pregnancies used protection. And so that's just
Well,
an
then
incorrect statement.
then you should learn to use it better.
That's
And
not
the
how
other
that
and the other thing is, after the kid's born, you could argue that it's an equally irresponsible move when men and women have unprotected sex or there's some problem with the birth control. Fine, equally irresponsible. But after, the woman has more control. She has the right to she's the only one who gets to decide if she takes a plan B. She's the only one that gets to decide to put him on child support or alimony if they're married. Men don't have a right to their wallets after the kid is born.
Yeah, so pregnancy involves your body and your internal organs, and that is worth more than any money.
Yeah, but that's 9 months, a year. What about the rest of the time? What about 18 years after?
Right, and so then there's like 2 years after that you're breastfeeding, and then there's the unequal division of childcare and domestic labor. So it's so much more than 9 months. But to go back, we cannot minimize that 9 months. Having your body be not your own for 9 months is 9 months too long.
Yeah, but there are men dying when they go and do their jobs, and
They
they're
can get a
not
different job.
complaining about it.
They can get a different job.
No, because men understand that somebody has to do it.
Yeah, they don't have to do it.
They understand. Well, that's why it's admirable that they do it anyway and they don't complain. And that's what I keep going back to, is what feminists tend to want is they want all of the credit and they want to over exaggerate their problems.
So I would actually like to go back to the comparison you made of pregnancy and men going to work. Do you think those two things are the same?
I think that a man going to a dangerous job is far worse than a woman being pregnant.
Of course, it's not the same thing. It's a role. Like it's a woman's duty to propagate a society while it's a man's duty to provide security and protection. I mean, the two don't mix. Neither one. I mean, it's only until feminism that now that women can own their own money and land and stuff, that it's become a debate. But I mean, men can't get pregnant, so I mean that's one thing that we can't do. That women can go in the workforce and have children, but men still have to go into the workforce no matter what. So, um, I don't know, man.
And do you think that the majority of
Far
men
far
work-
more dangerous, I'll say. That's more accurate. Better and good is like, it's subjective, right?
Yeah, and as I've said before, I think that we should have better safety protocols and we should improve the safety of all workers. So I think that that should be addressed.
I don't know. If I woke up a woman tomorrow, I'd be like, hell no, I ain't going to work. I don't have to. I'm gonna find me a guy to take care of me. And it's not like it's a gold digging type of thing. It's just that's what we're put on earth to do. So obviously you can have your hobbies and stuff. So if I woke up today as a man and be like, no, I don't have to work. I'm just gonna have the government provide me the money that I need. I'm still going to find a purpose. Even though the money's taken care of, I'm going to do things that help society push forward. So um being a stay-at-home wife, girlfriend, mother, whatever, isn't a bad thing, and it shouldn't be bad. It shouldn't. We should appreciate it more, and I don't think women appreciate the fact that they can do that. So um, it just sucks because I mean it's not as easy as people think it is. So it's not like you're sitting home; you're taking care of the children. You're making sure your children grow up to be an addition to the society in a positive way. So um, the fact that you're prioritizing career and then leaving the husband after you divorce him and stuff, leaving the children into the hands of just one parent, and now the kid is like destructive or like making bad decisions in his life, that is a problem. So there's no way to move society forward in a strong and healthy way doing that. So
But also, the
should,
majority of
should,
men.
but it isn't, right? Like, 'cause
Right,
when
but are you
when we
arguing
go,
for it to be?
here's the difference. Okay, so feminists have a tendency to think that if we complain, things will just happen. And I'm more realistic, where I know that just because we say, oh, it should be better, well, it's not.
So,
And men understand that because they have had to deal with that reality from a young age.
you recognize that the only reason you have a microphone and you have a show is because feminists complained because we wanted a voice.
That's
because
not true.
It actually is.
It's not true. There's writers, there's female writers in the 1800s, 1700s,
And they had to write
and
under
1600s.
male pseudonyms.
It's not true.
It is true.
It's not true.
Well, you can say it's not true, but it's history
That's not
and
true.
it's statistics.
That's not true.
It is. We used
There
to
were
not
women in
have a
power. We
voice.
had Cleopatra. We had women in power throughout all of history. There are examples of them.
When were
The
women?
first female property owner was in the 1600s in the United States.
When were women allowed to have their own bank accounts?
Women were allowed to have their own bank accounts in 19. What does that have to do with writing? You're changing the topic.
No, I'm not.
You're changing the topic
1946.
because I'm right. They were
No.
allowed to write. They were.
You're the one who brought up female writers.
But okay,
that wasn't the
go
question.
ahead. So, sometime in the 1900s, I can't remember the year.
1970s.
Yeah, it was like in the 1970s.
Yeah, right.
Is
Yes.
when women were allowed to have bank
I
accounts.
know my
So
shit.
when we're talking
And
about women,
what's happened since
I
we
don't know
got
where I got
bank accounts?
1946 from. I was like 1970 though. I fucking read that somewhere. I just don't remember where.
We
What
own
does that mean?
80.
You
We
tell
own
me.
80% of the world's debt. There's a reason people did things the way they did.
you don't think that women should be able to have their own bank accounts?
I don't think they shouldn't have bank accounts. I think everyone should have the right, and they do. But there's a reason. I think when we look at the past, we have to look at the reason that people did things. And one of the reasons is women are very irresponsible with money. They own 80% of the world's debt, even though they make less money than men.
So did you know that the majority of household finances are regulated and controlled by women?
Yeah, I knew that. We make 80% of consumer buying decisions.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. They spend.
And you
That's what I said. They
Right,
spend
because-
money.
because
They spend money
households-
they don't have.
we do have the money.
Not anymore. I mean, the average woman out of college has $30,000 worth. How much debt do you have? You have to have six figures coming out of
I do
med
have six
school.
I would say that even like so she's I mean that's true. So let's say if a man and woman gets together, and I'm generalizing here, it's usually because of these 50-50 relationships that women usually control the finances, which is kind of messed up to me. Like if you're the man making the majority of the money, you should be managing it as such. But it's usually the women controlling the finances. How many vacations we go on a year, what cars we have, um, what kind of bills do we like? Where's the cable? Like how much we pay for cable, how much we pay for food. It's usually the women in the household controlling that. So who's spending the money? It's usually not the man. The man is earning the money. It's the women controlling the money. So they're the ones spending. Now, if they're single, going to school and stuff, they're the ones holding the most debt because they're the ones in college debt. More women are going to college. There's more women enrolling in college than men. Um, and it's weird because I was in college and I dropped out because I was like, fuck this. It was too much for me, and I wasn't getting any kind of ROI. It's weird because college and school in general isn't really built for men to succeed because everyone's told to sit down and stay still, and we're more hands-on. Most men are more hands-on, so I strive in fields to where I have to do things to learn. So, and that's why I kind of strived, especially after the military, because we still did schooling in the military, but like it was still hands-on. I did very good as far as my job goes. I was working on aircraft mechanics, so um, I forgot where I was going with this. Uh, yeah, all the jobs that I had, like cable, I worked at the bowling alley as a pin setter. I was doing good because it was all hands-on training. So, the more we do, the better we learn. Doing good as a truck driver. And none of these jobs took like 4 years to learn. It took like a week or two. And like truck driving took what, a month? Yeah, it's a month of training to learn how to get your CDL. So it's weird that high-paying jobs like that, like getting your CDL, can earn you over 100K a year, and it only cost me 7,000 to do, which was sponsored by the company anyway. So um, we do the we men do the jobs that is just built for men. That's all. And then there's stuff that women do that's built for women. So I mean, if we understand our place, the society would definitely be striving a lot more than it is now. I could tell you that.
Figures of debt, and the student debt. Yeah, because
and the thing is, in your profession, I mean, on average, women leave the medical profession when they have a kid or within 5 years. So,
and that's another thing, retention. So job retention. People, if you stay at your job and you can't maintain a job for more than let's just say you find a job and you can't stay there for more than a month or a couple months, you're wasting time and energy for these hiring recruiters. So now these recruiters have to vet people a lot more harder, which makes it harder for people with good resumes to get a job because they're vetting so hard that that would just be easy if people just stay at their jobs longer and then um built a career off of it. So, but I mean, there's too much stuff to go on. We're not even talking about inflation or like wages and stuff. Just talking about the general um, underlying performances of a job that it takes for each man and women to do. So um, that's just the way it is. Men do harder things than women because we're just built that way. Higher bone density, higher testosterone, stuff like that. So it's dude, I'm not a genius, but I just put together two and two. That's it. That's all I do.
odds are you won't pay it off, and I'm not saying you personally, I hope you do, right? I'm not wishing it one way or another, but statistically, women make their debt someone else's problem.
Men do the same thing.
No, they don't. So they looked at women paying off their debt and men paying off their college debt, and men have been making payments towards it the last 5 years and women haven't.
So it's funny because you just mentioned how women will leave their careers because they have to take care of children. And that probably plays a large role into why they're not able to pay back their student debt compared to men who continue to be a part of the workforce even after they have children. Do you see how those two things might be correlated?
No, because women aren't having kids anymay. That would have been the case, maybe the case before, but now they're not really having children.
We are still having children.
On average, it's like 1.5 now. So, I mean, you have one kid, you can put it in daycare, you can still work.
You can put it in daycare.
Sorry, his or her.
Yeah. See, and this is the problem is when we see people as commodities instead of actual people, that's where we run into this thing of I don't care how you feel.
We are commodities, man. Like if I were to quit my job right now, I mean, I would consider myself as a high performer. It would take like 2 or 3 people to replace me, but still, I'm still replaceable. Like we are basically commodities.
You make stupid decisions instead of taking a new.
If I were to die today, man, 2 people would come to my funeral, and then nobody would like remember my name 2 months from now. So it's just that's just how it is, man. Once you understand that shit, you'll definitely do well in life, man. Like, because people are just like looking for an out. They're looking for too much sympathy from people like who just don't give a fuck, man. So I think life has gotten easier for me once I figured that out. So like I'm still able to do 60 push-ups even at age like fucking 100. So it's whatever.
Nuanced perspective and the complexity of the human experience, and recognizing that there are so many things that contribute into these cherry pick statistics.
Well, you think that the world owes you understanding, and it doesn't.
I think that it does. I think that we owe everybody understanding. I think that in order for me, so you know what? I think that this is something we need to clarify.
Yeah, go ahead.
I partake in these conversations because I want a better world. I develop my opinions based on how I think, or based on what I think is going to improve the human condition and improve people's quality of life. Why do you take part in these conversations?
I like to report on what's going on.
Okay, so you have no desire to improve the world and to be like an advocate.
And this is what I need people to understand is like there's so many content creators on social media. Like Pearl decided to be an entertainer and a reporter. She's reporting. She's not trying to fix anyone's problems. That there's so many other people that you can go to for that. She's just communicating stuff that people just aren't aware of. So that's all her role is. If she tried to fix everybody else's problems, that would take away from her able to report certain things. So she's basically reporting on the news on social issues, cultural issues, stuff like that between men and women. That's what she has decided to do. If she want her understanding that, being able to focus on that, makes her a better content creator than people that are trying to do too much, like myself. I've been on this YouTube shit forever. My shit's not growing because I keep changing shit. So I mean, it's fine. At least I understand that. I have other shit going on, so it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But like Pearl's making a living out of this, so I'm not making a living out of YouTube, so I can do whatever the hell I want. So it doesn't hurt my finance. It does a little bit because I bought another monitor. It cost me like $100 or so, but I make that money up in my other investments. So you just gotta know what the hell you're doing. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it there because I need to get on the road. We are 30 minutes in. I might continue this on another time. So hopefully we are 28 minutes in. Yeah, we're gonna probably do a part 2 of this session. Thank you for everybody who has stopped by my channel. Make sure you give me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you guys on the other side. Peace.